AITA for not giving my brother and wife the bigger room. My brother's wife lost her job, which has caused them to lose the house they were renting. My brother asked if he could stay with me. I talked to my BF and he said sure. So, I told my brother yes, but he can't bring any of their furniture with them. We don't have any room for any of it. Our spare room has a bed and dressers in it already. He'll have to find a place to store their things. He wasn't happy about it, but said okay, and that was that. When they started moving their clothes and whatnot in, they started complaining about how small the room was. I ignored it, because they were used to a rather large house. And I was sympathetic, because I know how it feels to go from having everything to nothing. I apologized and told them that this was the best we had. Issue: my son was in his room, and started crying. I went in there to check on him, and my brother got mad. I usually keep his door closed when he's napping. I have a baby monitor, and I guess my brother saw how large his room is. It's not big, at all, by any means. It's just bigger than the spare room. He asked why the hell we gave him the small room when we can just move our son into the spare room. I told him I'm not moving my son and all his things into a different room when the spare bedroom is perfectly fine for the two of them as long as they don't try to move their entire house into one room. He got mad. She got mad. They threw a fit. Then my brother asked why we don't move my son into our room. Told him that my son's crib won't fit in our room. And again, I'm not moving him just to accommodate them. The last week or so has been very tense. Small comments here. Cold shoulder there. Petty shoulder checks from his wife if we cross close together. I've kept my mouth shut, because I love my brother, and I don't want to cause trouble. Plus, if they weren't so pissy, I guess is the word, they wouldn't be hard to live with. They've started to complain that my son's crying at night is keeping them awake. Which, I get, but he's a baby. He only wakes once a night to eat. And that's not even all the time. This morning it all came to a head when my brother told me I should move into the spare room and let them have mine and my boyfriend's room so that they don't get woke up by the baby. When I told him no, he started yelling, calling me selfish and entitled. Told me that I should let them have my room, because my son is an annoying little shit that keeps them up every night, all night. Where I may be the asshole, I saw red. Let me start this by saying I did not yell at my brother as he yelled at me. I said if you can't appreciate the room you were given, you can go elsewhere. My boyfriend and I have been more than accommodating to you. You constantly complain. You're ungrateful and rude. Get over yourself or get out of my house. ETA, I'm asking if I'm TA because my mother called and told me I'm an asshole for not giving the married couple the big bedroom with the connected bathroom. And apparently my other siblings agree. Too, they do not pay rent. My boyfriend and I own our home and don't pay anything on it. They pay the difference on the electricity bill and buy some of their own groceries. I do the majority of the cooking and all the cleaning. AITA 3, boyfriend and I are going to talk about kicking them out tonight when he gets off work. AITA 4, I will update y'all tomorrow, smiley face. Calling me selfish and entitled. Told me that I should let them have my room, because my son is an annoying little shit that keeps them up every night, all night. That is some goddamn nerve right there to call you entitled and insult your infant son when you are giving them a place to live and accommodating their whiny, entitled asses. NTA. I wouldn't even call you an asshole if you told them to be out by the end of the month. Can you even be selfish and entitled in your own home that you pay for as an adult? Question mark. Oh absolutely NTA. Shoulder checks as in she physically hits your shoulder with her shoulder? That would have been enough for me to kick them out. How can they be so entitled? I'm glad you stood up for yourself and family. I think it's time they leave for good. Natar. Your brother called your son, a literal baby, an annoying shit. Girl, you need to evict him and his wife yesterday. He does not get to cause an inconvenience in your home to your family, insult your child, and make sleeping arrangement demands because he's bitter he has a smaller room than he wanted. AITA for refusing to name our daughter Karen. My wife and I recently found out we're having a daughter. We hadn't really talked about names before, but we both agreed that each of us will retain veto power. When we did start discussing names, both of us wanted to name her after our late mothers. Her mom's name was Karen and my mom's name wasn't a meme. Told her the baby can take my mom's name as her first name and her mom's name as a middle name, or have an entirely different name, but I can't okay Karen as a first name in any case. She got offended because she just wants to honor her mother and thinks I have a problem with that. I just don't want to set our daughter up to be bullied throughout her life. Told her I'd be fine with whatever first name she picks as long as it doesn't lead to the baby being picked on later in life, but she's pretty insistent on Karen. Edit. Wow, I didn't expect this to blow up. I thought I'd delete this since this issue is pretty much resolved now, but you guys are clearly enjoying this, so I thought I'd provide an update. We had a talk about this and why she had such an emotional reaction to my veto. Ever since her mom died suddenly when she was only 14, she's wanted to name her first daughter after her, and she didn't really ever consider that the meme might be a potential obstacle. By that point, I'd thought about it for a while and realized that, as many of the comments have pointed out, Karen likely won't be a meme by the time she's old enough to feel its impact. So I told her I'll recant my veto, but we should still reconsider it because it still has potential complications and we might just come up with a better tribute. While exchanging ideas, we realized that both our mothers very coincidentally had the exact same middle name, Elizabeth. Well, mine had two middle names, and Elizabeth was one of them, but still, it seemed completely perfect to both of us, so we're going with it. Thanks for all your inputs. NTA. Give her two middle names and pick a completely new first name, or if there is a way to combine your mom's name and her mom's name to create a new name, that might be cool. Or maybe you could suggest something like Corinne, could be spelled different ways like Corinne or Karen. This is my middle name and it's spelled Karen, or Carly, or Ren. And it's kinda still got some of her mom's name in it to honor her, but also gives your daughter her own name, too. As long as it's not Karen Esmailamo. Nah, you both have good reasons. You suggested a compromise and you've discussed veto power. I think the only solution you can find is to convince her to accept other suggestions and find something else you both agree on. You've discussed veto power, not just discussed. According to OP, they agreed to veto power, but now the wife is backing out of the agreement. That alone makes OP NTA and his wife slightly the R. I personally feel like the Karen thing will die off one day, and our children's generation will likely not know anything about it. However, I can see where you would still be adamant about not wanting to name her that. There is a bit of a stigma around that name today. Think you guys should take a different route in name picking and just steer clear of tribute naming. Good luck. NTA. NTA. I get where you are coming from. We did the same thing except we used my mom's middle name as her first name. That way we knew it was a tribute to my mom, but no one else needed to know. This was also long before the Karen meme started. Another reason we chose the middle name is we felt it would be weird and a little uncomfortable for me to have to discipline my child, which thankfully didn't happen often, and use my mom's name at the same time. WIBTA. If I reported my daughter's teacher for not pronouncing her name correctly. My daughter's English teacher refuses to pronounce her name correctly. She has a Japanese name and we live in Japan. Her name is Kane, pronounced Kanai. Recently, Kane told me that her English teacher, an expat from America, at school calls her Kanai. She told me that she told the teacher my name Kane. It's 3 claps, syllables. But the English teacher told Kane that she was incorrect, and that grammatically speaking that she, her teacher, was correct. During my daughter's sports day I confronted the teacher. I explained that my daughter would like to be called Kane, but she laughed and said she was pronouncing it the way it's supposed to be but will try her best to remember. Today, my daughter told me the teacher still calls her Kane. My daughter is very shy and it took a lot for her to correct her teacher the first time. I'm considering going to the school in the morning. But is that an overreaction? For some clarity, I am not Japanese, my wife is, so our kids are mixed race. Our kids are fluent in English and Japanese. Fairy, right pointing finger, not like Kanye West. But car. Us Nye like Bill Nye, left pointing finger. Oh wow. I wrote this late at night and went to sleep. I didn't expect it to get this much attention. Thank you for all of the responses. I can't reply to them all. But this morning we couldn't go, son had an earache, but we are going there after school ends. We asked our daughter if she wanted us to tell. She said that she didn't care. We don't want the teacher fired, we just want our daughter respected in her classroom. Shrine, update, I'm not sure where else to place it, but my wife and I went to the school today around 3:45 p.m. By then the English teacher in question had gone home. We told the principal everything that I've told you all and he was extremely apologetic. He did say that maybe it was a language barrier, but I reminded him that my daughter and I both told the teacher in English how to pronounce Kane. So then the principal called her dispatch company, Interac. It turns out the same thing happened. The company apologized but tried to pass it off as a language barrier thing. More apologizes were issued when we told them we spoke English. We were told that Interac would speak to the teacher, and that they would handle it. The principal asked us to come to the school Monday morning. I'm hoping to talk to the teacher face to face on that day. Green heart, final, maybe, update. This morning I met with the school board, principal, the dispatch company, and the teacher in question. I honestly didn't expect everyone there. It was very traditional Japanese apology. It bows from everyone, even the American teacher. She wrote, I think it was written for her because it didn't sound natural and she made several mistakes. I don't remember it word for word, but it said, I sincerely apologize to our family name, and most sincerely to Kane. She said it correctly. I now realize how important names are to the Japanese people. Please accept my dearest condolences. Yes, this was actually said. The teacher promised to treat Kane with more respect. She also apologized for not respecting me during the sports day. Honestly, the only real thing that she said is when Kane was brought in and the teacher kneeled down and said, Kane, I am really sorry. It seemed heartfelt. Kane being Kane made the teacher a card, and the teacher teared a bit. I forgive her. So does my daughter. I have no idea what is going to happen career-wise, however. Her company seemed very upset. But my daughter feels better. Thank you all so much. NTA, my name is Anastasia and it's pronounced phonetically. My third grade teacher said Anastasia. When I told her it's actually Anastasia, she said her way of saying it was prettier. I still hate her. Don't let dumb adults get away with saying a name properly. I'm shy and my response to everything is I don't know. Your daughter needs to stop responding when she call her Kanye and only respond when the teacher gets the pronunciation correctly. Because technically she's not calling your daughter, she's calling a cast member of Keeping Up with the Kardashian. NTA. So disrespectful considering you tried to have a direct conversation about it after not listening to your daughter. Also, the teacher's behavior is culturally offensive. Most importantly, she is limiting your daughter's voice and not encouraging her to stand up for herself. I'd be fighting fire with fire on this one. Tell your daughter to be relentless about pronouncing her teacher's name incorrectly in order to teach her a lesson, or rally the whole class to do it and post it all over the internet in Kane's honor, though AITA might call AITA for it.